There's a thinking that everything is going to go up and everything is going to be positive, and there's something wrong in that thinking. Things don't work like that. The things that are happening in the economy today are not cyclical, they're structural. The jobs that are being lost are not coming back. Though may seem depressing to some, what I'm going to say, the most important point to remember is there are tremendous opportunities for those who understand what I'm going to say and react to it. As I like to tell my clients, the lions eat well when the herd is confused. And we certainly live in the most confusing of times. A little bit of my background. I'm with Minkin affiliates. We've been in the Bay Area for over 30 years. I've spent over 10 years with Stanford Research Institute, and I've literally dealt with hundreds of companies around the world in my 30 years as a global management consultant. My view for this comes from the bottom up, from working in the trenches. And as you'll see from the presentation, it's that view that is so different from what our economists and others really see as to what is happening. Just think what would happen if a group of investment houses got together in Zurich over lunch tomorrow and decided that they were going to invest in copper as a hedge against winter wheat or some other commodity. Would any economist in the world understand the spike in the rise of copper the next day was due to that transaction? I doubt it. And I know for sure that with $1.5 trillion of such transactions happening every day, that you can't possibly know what's going on. So what we have with complexity is a breakdown of the early warning systems. People really don't understand what is going on in the economy. The people who were making money in the 80s are the same people who are making money now. Your banks are going to make money, your brokerage houses, but is that real? Is that real business, or is that the movement of money? I think what's happening now, and I see it here in Silicon Valley, my hometown, is vacancy rates are at all-time highs, yet we're building. In the U.S. today, 2/3 of the manufacturing industries could be categorized as having either falling prices or stable prices. And I can hear, as my economist colleagues would debate me, falling prices, that's great for consumers. What are you complaining about? And the point is, for every 1% drop in price, the profits of the average Standard & Poor's 1,000 company drops 12.6%. And let me just mention, during the Great Depression, it was deflation of approximately 10% annually that caused even moderately leveraged companies to go belly up. I'd be very careful about playing the stock market because I don't think it's any indicator of what is going on in the real world. So I don't give, stock tips, because that you could go to Las Vegas and do as well. Start trusting yourself, not what you're listening to. Think about, if things are in bad times, what are people going to need? The difference between a vitamin pill and a pain pill is the way I evaluate investments. A vitamin pill is nice to have, and I can do without it if I'm out of money. But a pain pill, I'll pay anything at any time to have that pill. The analogy that comes to mind is a ball of rubber bands that starts to pop. Initially, and I'm watching one or two, but people aren't seeing them yet. But when you get closer and those bands start moving quickly, everybody knows about it. And at that point, and I'm not going to play the futurist game here and say, in 20 years and 30 years. I'm talking next year when you're here, you'll know more than you do today as to which direction it's going, and it's going down. I used to make a great living doing strategic planning for companies all over the world. But at some point,